This conference will now be recorded.
Being 6:02, we'll bring the Tilton Budget Committee of January 3rd, 2024. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
To order. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, let's start with the minute. Kept looking for these and they, you must have just got them done, huh?
I sent them in the second because Deb said there's nothing there, and I was like, oh, oops. I just forgot the attachment, but I did resend the attachment.
You are not the first person to forget an attachment.
I didn't
I
get
do it
them
all the
on
time.
second.
That's weird.
I never got a second one.
Who's that creeping up there? Oh,
Tim, would you like to address the board or are you just sitting?
Yes, I could just bring you up to date on a few items.
Okay, why don't we do that right now? We'll
Sure.
put off the minutes, get Tim done.
That'd be nice.
Tim done.
You're done. So in the budget that was sent out, there are a few changes in there. First of all, the salary for the DPW director was reduced to $85,000. And that's now none of these, that hasn't been voted on by the board, but for the purposes of the budget, it was something that had been discussed. And then the encumbrances that the board approved at the end of 23, those items were taken out of the budget. So there was a line painting machine. What else? There were some tech services.
Did we just get a list of those?
Yeah.
And we know
So
that-
basically, it was about $12,000 that was taken out,
12,000?
roughly speaking. Yeah.
Out of Public Works.
Public Works, IT, and I believe that was it.
Sound awful.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
in any event, so that's what this budget reflects. Basically, those changes, the change to the salary, and then the removal of the encumbrances that they approved. So, other than that, it is.
This year's budget's up 6.3%.
Yeah, instead it was 6.9, but.
Right. So,
What was it last year, 2.9?
no, it was
3% or something.
it was just over 3, I think. I'd have to look, but
We should look
The-
at this.
well, what you have is you've got the expansion of recycling in Public Works. So there's a new employee, slated or an open in position for the recycling center to run that recycling program.
None of the people that work there can run that?
Well, I don't think it's a matter of them not being able to run it. I think it's a matter of are there enough people to do all the things that need to be done and keep it open. Because the material has to be checked in and a number of different things, I guess, that have to go along with it. But there will be potential revenues from that too.
I was wondering if there's any estimates.
I think I'd put in, a very low estimate for recycling revenue for next year. I added $20,000, just not knowing when we're going to start up during the year. And then just, as it takes time to educate people that it's available and they can bring it down and all that sort of thing. So
I've been down there a couple times and people are going there.
they are,
I was
yeah.
surprised. The bin they do mixed recycling and then they sort it later. There's always a line when I go just to put their recycling in. So people are doing it.
Yeah.
I went today.
And there
So
was
I was
people there.
surprised that it was one bin, that the way they talked about it being
Yeah.
all separated. And I was surprised it was outside too, because I thought they were doing something inside the building.
Well, it
I
used to
think
be
they take all the
inside, but
cardboard out.
since things have changed, I think it's expedient to do it the way it is
The
now.
cardboard's inside the
Yeah,
new
cardboard can't get
building.
wet.
They do move it because you can see that building's just about filled to the gill with cardboard because we don't have a squisher thing.
Baylor.
Well,
Yeah.
it's on its way. It's
Yeah.
ordered, and most of it was paid for from the Lowe's hometown grant. And then one of the items that the board encumbered was a used Connex box, 40-foot Connex box to store the material once it's baled, so it stays dry. And but in any case, so that position alone is about I want to say total loaded cost, everything, taxes, retirement, health, wages is about $70,000. And then in the PD, there's several open positions. Of course, the Board of Selectmen right now are looking at candidates for both town administrator and DPW director, and not knowing the experience level, so on and so forth, that those wage lines could change as well depending upon who they hire. So just some things to keep in mind. But I am going to try to get the board to make some decisions tomorrow night, because we're going to be closing in on not only your public hearing, but also I got to get working on the town report, and I need a budget for it.
On the 11th?
Is that when you're
That's what
you're posting for the 11th,
11th? We have to post something?
February 11th?
This other
Well,
thing is just for town meeting. There's nothing to
That
do
would be
with
the
us.
last time for a meeting.
Last day to hold the hearing, right?
I would love it if you were closer in,
We should do it earlier.
because I've got to have the town report to the printer by mid-February.
So we typically have our meeting early February. So I don't have the calendar right here.
The 7th is the
That
first
public hearing.
Wednesday.
Okay, so
February 7th would be a good one.
yeah, that would be a good time. We just have to make sure that
Nice, Tim. That was smooth.
we advertise it.
Very. I'm
The deadline
desperate.
to post is notice of special refund
Yeah, so,
hearing is February 4th. I mean, that's not us, is it?
No,
No.
no, that's,
but
None
the
of these
budget
are
hearing
us.
could be February 7th. That's the first Wednesday.
I mean, you could do January 31st. I mean, if you're done by then.
Oh, let's
Because
not
I
push
thought
it.
the 11th was, I thought the 11th was the last time because we had to post. That's why we were having.
We don't
that
have to
extra
set the
meeting.
date today. The
No.
last date to post it is February 9th. So
Oh.
we could, let's see where we get tonight. And
Okay,
Date to
sure.
post,
Yeah,
notice
yeah.
of
We
February
can then post
16th
it.
budget,
so we could do the
but
31st or the
Tim would like February
February
7th.
Yeah, or before.
7th. Right.
January
Yeah,
31st is
anything,
good with
we
me.
feel we've got it all set. We can just do it earlier and get the public in here.
Right, and I will have a revision on revenues too, that reflects the updated state of New Hampshire revenues we received, so.
Okay.
Good news or bad news?
Oh, good, yeah, good. So still not enough, but
Better?
in the right direction,
Good.
right.
The rates stabilized? Because I saw something about the rates weren't going to go up anymore. They were going to start stabilizing and coming down. Does
For,
that affect our debt?
for,
I
you're talking
don't
about
see any
interest rates?
on here, so.
Interest rates?
Yeah.
Yeah, so our debt, the bond, that's all prescribed.
Oh, okay.
You
So
know,
it's
so
nothing to do with prime.
that won't do anything for us for our long-term debt. It does affect our short-term debt and our TAN interest, if you will. So if you were to look under the finance department, you'll see that the TAN interest, I think I added $12,000, mainly because, in prior years, we went from 1%, and then towards the end of 22, we locked in at a 3.75% rate,
Yeah.
which was really a great thing to do because, it was good all year long. And, but now we're having to lock in at a 5.25.
Yeah, I see that.
But we do have the option, if there's a material change in rates, that we can renegotiate that during the year. And the only downside is it might cost us a few hours of legal opinion. But other than that, that should be it. I've completed everything I needed to do for the 24 TAN. So, and, but yeah, I think, my personal opinion is I think we will see some rate cuts, but I don't think they're going to affect municipal exempt, tax exempt rates much, maybe a little bit, but that'd be my guess.
And what does it mean when it says see all raised hands?
Someone's got their hand raised.
Click on
Was
it.
somebody on there?
There was somebody on for a minute here.
Bob, Nate,
Yes, I was
You're all
raising my
downstairs.
hand to make a public comment at some point.
Sure, go for it.
So the recycling had been stored in the sand and salt sheds, but then it has moved to the open topped dumpsters next to the hill. And it's my understanding that once the baler and the container arrive, that will then move into the green storage shed as far as operations.
Sounds right. Yep.
They're building a shed, right?
Well, it's
They
well, there's a
built.
building there.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But that's your understanding?
Yes.
Yeah, and this stuff can be out, that stuff can be out in the open with water. It doesn't matter, plastic and metal. Yeah, but cardboard can't, yeah.
Recycling's tough
Thank you.
because when you destroy, when you put rotten milk and all that in there, people aren't cleaning it, that's when it's a problem.
Are there
There'll be
any
lots
other
of
public
bees.
questions? Okay, how about the board has questions for? Anybody have questions?
I'm just looking real quick because I wasn't here when Tim went over these things.
Yeah.
I have a quick question. You're gonna laugh at it, but, so I understand, DRA, we gotta put the sewer debt in here, even though we don't raise and appropriate taxes to pay it. But how is that? Is that
Well-
96,000 affecting the percentage of this budget going up? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, it's not a big change from last year, so no, there's not. But we do raise taxes to pay that debt. We do. I mean, it's part of our, the sewer debt is part of our operating
The
budget.
interest and
The principal and interest payments are made from the operating budget based on the 2012.
Oh, that's the
Town meeting.
project. I thought it was, never mind.
Oh, okay.
I know what it is. That's the Silver Lake.
The 12C.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2008.
Lockmere. Oh, yeah. Our favorite.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, my brain died for a minute. I know, I understand what it is now. So yes, it
Okay.
is by taxes.
Yeah, and it doesn't change very much from year to year.
No.
okay.
Yep.
So under the public works, I see the director went down, but highway salaries crew went up, and that's just one position that we're adding.
Right.
70,000.
So 56,000, well, plus raises is going to be the,
Raises are in the merit line.
You did around 3%, right?
We did 3. Yep.
okay, 3%.
And then, of course, the other components of that employee would be under the medical and retirement and that
The
sort of thing.
benefits.
Yep, taxes.
When you guys do benefits based on a new position, what package do you do?
It depends if we know, like it's an entry level, going to be somebody that we have to send to the academy or something like that. Generally, we'll budget a single plan if it's an experienced
Like
position.
the highway one.
Highway, we usually stick around a 2-person, for budgetary purposes. So
We always did a family plan because that's the worst case scenario.
it is the worst case scenario, but it will raise a little too much because those are expensive.
So with the director who was also mechanic, did we up any maintenance?
Yes. Yep.
This includes baler maintenance?
Yep. Vehicle maintenance and
5,000.
then also at the PD vehicle maintenance there. The
They
Tahoes.
did their work too?
Yep.
PD?
Yep.
Oh.
Along with the vehicle inspections. So in fact, I've got to get the board to terminate the inspection machine. But the but the plan will be in the near term to take some money and put it into those lines and see how we do. We have a truck right now that is being repaired. There's a $5,300 repair. And as they were working on the $5,300 repair, they found another $1,200 oil pan and transmission lines that needed to be replaced while they were in there. So this is one of our plow trucks. So it's just something that we just have to be prepared for, and and it may require from time to time dipping into the highway equipment fund if there's if we lost some big piece of equipment that required some massive repair or something.
I hope the recycling turns into good revenue because we got a lot of expense.
The startup cost.
Yeah, materials, tipping.
So according
blah, blah,
to
blah.
Northfield, they have 2 part-time people that operate
I
over
know
there.
one of them.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah,
And
he's 70. I was just telling these
Is
guys,
there-
they said he loves it.
yeah, and
Do recycling.
the town administrator told me that their net positive for the year, they were about 5,000 over all their costs, including personnel, equipment, maintenance, everything,
Yeah, they have
utilities.
restrictions too. They don't allow any like construction equipment. I mean, construction materials, stuff
Debris.
like that. All they do is recycling and trash, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Was there a question from the public?
No hands raised.
Okay.
This is probably a sore spot, but I thought we talked about we had plenty of police and we have the most police and we're adding to the police.
They're proposing that.
So I still
we're-
propose that we deduct 90,000 from, what is it? Line
Officer salaries?
4210130.
Yeah.
We have in the past 20 whatever years, maybe a couple of months out of a few of the years, did we have that magic number of what's called full capacity, which I've always disagreed with. We've always run on a lesser amount,
Yeah.
a lesser number. And I mean, the chief we have now, it's probably unfair because remember, he doesn't want us to drop it, but I mean, he's been working on an almost skeleton crew, and I'm sure none of the public have noticed. He's done an exceptional job, but nevertheless,
Yeah.
I just don't see the need. I think we should deduct 90,000 from this and then let Tim,
If I could just make a point that 90,000 would be like the full cost of the officer,
Yeah,
not
that's
just out of the
96.
officer's.
that's the medical, the FICA, the.
Right, yeah.
yeah.
So that'd be out of the bottom line of
Deducted
their
off the
budget.
right, it'd be on the bottom line, not off
It'd
the.
be off the bottom line,
Yeah.
you're right. And then
Mhm.
Tim can adjust.
Yeah.
This is necessary.
Okay.
He'd do his magic.
Okay. So we'll vote on that later.
Mhm.
I'm sorry I wasn't here, Tim.
No, that's all right.
I see a lot of going down, so it's hard, other than the sanitation and all that, it's just killing me that it's 6.9%.
Well, we're kind of in a transition with the recycling,
Right.
transition period.
Tim, how many years has the merit raise pool been at 3%?
Well, we're just going back to 3%. Last year it was at 4%. And I think the year before that,
It was
think
2%
we
originally.
we were 3.5. Before that, I think it was 3. I can give you a list of year to year what it's been.
That's
But
close enough.
in addition to that, I mean, obviously the board has made salary adjustments where they needed to.
How's that determined?
By the board and based on either the need or hiring or, I mean, we're going through a CBA, process right now. So you'll see a warrant article again, and we just had one, to do more market related wages.
So
So
collective bargaining is through the Who does that collective bargaining?
So the collective bargaining is done by the board through a committee, of which I'm one of the committee. And then once the board and the union reach an agreement, and then it's put onto a warrant article for the townspeople to vote on.
So there's a union that's
Yes,
part of that. Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
yep.
And then this 6.3% doesn't take into account the adjustments we've made on these outside agencies, because I see that's in the budget voted column.
Right.
Not in
So,
the department
right,
request.
right, because you voted on so very little in
Yeah, okay.
the other.
So we'll go, okay.
Yeah, once, you'll see those changes
Okay.
once we have more.
Nate has his hand up again.
He has a hand up.
Is there something?
Oh yeah, I see it waving down at the bottom.
Yes, sorry. So the 3% merit raise, is that just for the police department or is that for all town employees?
That's for all non-union town employees. So the police department, their wages would be governed by the collective bargaining agreement, which would be voted on at town meeting.
Well, the union members of the police.
The union
department.
members of the police department, right. So the 3% is for the non-union town employees. And that does include some members that work at the police department that are non-union.
And so is that 3% every year as like a cost of living adjustment, or is that a performance based?
It's considered a performance based. The board has not had a cost of living adjustment per se.
Apparently that does change from year to year, depending on the selectmen people.
The percent of
The
merit,
pool, the merit wage,
the budgeted merited wages.
Yeah.
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 And
that can change, yeah.
right. And people are evaluated on their performance and right.
So I guess in a typical year, what percentage of eligible employees receive the 3% merit raise?
The Board of Selectmen question.
Yeah.
Oh, that depends on the board of selectmen. Apparently.
Say historically, it's probably been more than 90%, maybe 85 to 90%. Just off the top of my head.
Get that, Nate?
Yes, thank you, Tim.
Yep.
Now, under the town clerk tax collector, she's asking for a 3% wage increase, which I don't have a problem with, but I thought we had to vote that at town meeting.
That's correct. So that's why you see that note as to the amount and what that equates to.
So we just would know what it would, if that would.
Right.
Thank you.
What line is that?
It should be the first line under the town clerk tax
On
collector.
Page 4,
Right there.
4140.130.
So we still put it in. What if they don't vote it in? Then it comes out.
Well, and then it could be taken out. Yep.
Okay.
Same as the merits.
Do I
I
see
have for Tim anyways.
Okay.
8.7% increase for the deputy town clerk tax collector?
That's correct. That was an adjustment the board had made.
Based on the salary
Right.
in the market.
Wow.
That was a fairly new hire, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And considering the considering the market as well as responsibilities, that sort of thing. I'm sure I'll be in much better form for your next 3 or 4 meetings. So, I'll be more than happy to answer any questions or, dig up any data if you need things.
Okay.
So, okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Tim.
You feel better.
Thank you, Tim.
Thanks, Nate.
Okay, back to the minutes.
When Tim comes back next week or whatever, he should give us the revenue page, because I don't have that. Do you?
Yeah, revenue would be helpful.
The what?
He did
The
say
revenue
he
page.
said he was updating
Oh,
it because
okay.
the,
Right.
Oh,
It's
he was-
usually in
he
the
just-
back. And
He
then-
just got the state information.
yeah, just
Yeah.
getting the state information.
That's right,
Sorry.
he did say that, you're right.
Mhm. Yeah, see? Brittany reiterated that every member of their staff makes below the poverty level.
If the poverty level is, what'd you say, 38,000?
For a family of 4.
Right, that's working full time.
That's not the poverty level. That is
13,000.
low income. Poverty is like 16,000 or something. I mean, it's low. I thought I'd written it down. Somebody had it last week. Poverty wage is 6.53 an hour.
That's below minimum wage.
That is. Yeah. I think it's around 16,000 now.
Federal poverty level for New Hampshire, 2023. One person, 14,580. Two people, 19,720. Three people, 24,860.
That's for 2023?
23.
Wow.
Could you repeat that?
That's gone down.
It says, what is the federal poverty level for 2023 in New Hampshire? One person is 14,580. Two-person household is 19,720. Three persons is 24,860. But if you're only working 20 hours a week, that's different.
That's part-time.
That's by
Yeah.
choice.
But that's what this comes up as for New Hampshire. The official poverty rate
I believe that's Diane Farisi.
Do you know how to spell it?
I think it's Ferisi, but I,
Did the best I could with listening to them
yeah,
talk.
right. I believe it's Ferisi, but
Yeah, we might want to, when people get up and address, have them spell their name for the record.
We used to have a sign-in sheet.
Yeah,
That'd be
We
good to
should
have.
probably implement that again.
Yeah, I'll look into that.
their customers, so I think that's how it was.
When you had the agencies in, it was easier to ask the people their names, but when you had a group of people
Right.
like that, it was a little
Yeah.
different.
Make a motion to accept the minutes of, excuse me, the December 20th meeting with the correction in spelling.
Second.
Any other? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? The ayes have it. All right,
I have a comment that pertains to the minutes.
okay.
We've talked about it. And I just didn't want us to forget. The Pines Community Center.
Yeah.
We discussed it. Scott Ruggles reminded us about the discrepancy between the numbers they serve in
Towns.
Northfield and
Mhm.
Tilton. Should we consider sending them a letter now, letting them know that next year, we're going to look at that very hard when we're determining.
Do you want to do that with the library too, since the same thing is, it impacts
Well, the
the library
library,
the same way?
the library, it's a little bit different. The library was created to serve the town of Tilton and Northfield. They are independent from us, but it's a little bit different than the Pines. And I don't see that huge discrepancy. I mean, there is a little bit, but you'd expect that. And you can't make Tilton residents go use the services,
Well, there's also less kids in Tilton.
right?
I mean,
So,
you're
And
not,
we-
you're not
we
gonna,
could-
you're not gonna have
Location is
equal, because there isn't
Yeah.
equal kids in the towns.
I mean, we could certainly send them the same
It's
letter
not the
letting them
same
know that,
service.
Yeah, yeah,
because we want those figures anyway.
Yeah.
So that would be,
you're right.
yeah.
I'd like to see that letter drafted before we finalize this budget. Otherwise, I will like to say, level fund, because it isn't fair. We've been saying this for the last 3 years or something.
We need to do something.
Yeah.
I'm in favor of doing a letter. I think we've already made our discussion on how the funding's going to happen, but I think we should do a letter and let them know next year we're going to really look at it.
Yeah.
We've been
I think
talking
it should
about
go out certified.
Yeah.
So when I send out certified as health officer, I send it certified in regular mail.
My car.
Nice.
Did you hit the button? Oh.
I brought my
Oh,
keys.
no.
It's a little sensitive, huh?
Yeah, something's going on with it.
Doesn't like the
So
cold.
I have a question about joint programs between towns.
Sure, go ahead.
So how many shared services are there? Because I know there's the fire district, which services both towns, the water district, which services both towns, the Pines Community Rec Center, the Hall Memorial Library, and then the Youth Assistance Program.
That's totally separate.
But are there any other, like, I know there's also a bunch of other, just various organizations, groups, charities, what have you, but, as far as, town tax funding, are there additional programs or institutions that I'm not aware of?
Well, just the school system, which is about 60% of your tax dollar, I think.
Well,
Yeah, but I mean, that's that's how the system work, that's.
as far as the other nonprofits, those people go to each town and ask for money. It's not jointly. Like youth assistance will go to both towns. The food kitchen will go to both towns. That's totally separate. They're really the only entities that we share are the fire department.
Those are districts.
That's a district.
They're
but I
not
mean-
outside agencies.
Right, but the library and the Pines are really the two we're talking about. Like youth assistance is totally separate. It's something that both towns decide to fund according to how they want to fund them.
Right. And they go to
Right.
all kinds of towns, not just our
Right.
2 towns.
So all of those other outside agencies are really,
Multi-towns.
well, yeah. So
Right.
really the two things we're talking about is the library and the the,
Tilton and Northfield.
Right.
the rec center.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Anyway,
So she's got a task of writing up a letter.
Yeah, I was going to say, how,
Okay.
how do you want me to word this? Or
You
does
want
anybody have
Catherine to draft it and then we'll.
That'd be great.
No, I mean, you know how to draft a good
That's going to be
letter.
my next suggestion. If anybody up there wants to draft it.
Wow.
I mean, you've been on here or Billy, but we can all look at it and make suggestions after we get a base one.
I don't mind coming up with a draft,
Okay, yeah.
but you have to know
And then
I'm
we'll-
not usually I'm really to the point. So if
Well,
you're looking for any fluff in it,
We
I
have
can
sit
I
out.
can I can fluff it up.
Later.
trust me,
We can have,
I'll make up a draft, but you make all the comments you
we can
want.
help
'cause
with
you're
the
not
fluff.
gonna
We can
offend
all
me.
help with the
We can all
fluff.
help with the fluff because
Yeah.
I'm good with fluff. I just need a base
Oh, yeah.
to start with.
I'm like, hey, you know what? Yeah.
Yeah, if everybody makes their edits to it, we can come up with one final.
Sure.
We just need a starting point.
I'll get you started.
And they may be aware because I believe in the beginning, I know Brittany was listening to our meetings, so I don't
Yeah.
know if she still
We've
is.
been saying it for 3
Brittany
years. so they
is
know.
no longer with the Pines. They just talked about, didn't they just talk about the Selectmen meeting?
Yes,
What's that?
Yes.
Brittany has left the Pines.
she's gone to Guilford.
Oh, really?
What? Oh,
Wow.
okay, so.
So who taking her place?
They didn't talk about that at the meeting.
Oh, okay.
Probably
I only have,
advertising.
I've read the minutes, so that's how I get my information.
So maybe the budget's gonna change?
No, I doubt it. Just their leadership is.
Just the leadership,
But it
yeah.
would be the same pay? I mean.
Too bad,
Brittany's
she
been
was
there
really
how long?
good.
Yeah.
I think she finally got it.
It's not a huge, they don't pay a lot. So it's not.
Okay, now you gotta remember
Probably
something.
pays well.
This letter.
A lot of people are changing this year, huh?
It's a good market for it. You can name your price in a lot of places now. It's crazy.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of people out
Not in the
there.
job market, so.
Well, it's a tough,
Well,
a tough time
I
for
mean,
employers.
I've
don't have to
researched a
be-
lot of the libraries in
Yeah.
the state. And, the ones that are in wealthy communities pay incredibly great. And then the ones that aren't in wealthy communities don't pay that great. I mean, and it just happens to be, that's typically the tax
The
base.
nature of it. Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Well, that'll be interesting. They'll probably have to advertise and, for a new director.
They don't have anyone in the ranks. I know that has nothing to do with our meetings.
I don't know.
I'll ask you later.
right.
I have
we
no
got-
idea. It's about growing the rec.
So do we want to ask the Home Memorial for a clarification on the poverty thing again, or
I'm staying to my vote.
we just don't need to deal with that?
I mean, I don't want to beat a dead horse.
Right,
Yeah.
it's
We
just,
know what the poverty level is.
the thing is, we just want them to clarify what they're
I would like the
talking about
record to be
us, because
clarified,
We
yes.
don't understand it the way they're understanding it. Yeah, I mean, I don't understand what they're talking about.
I think they're just looking for 2 to 3% raises for everyone. I don't think the
They asked
total,
for 13%.
total from the total number.
It was 13%
13%.
salaries.
They're present, yeah,
13%
For
salaries.
all the total salaries, but each individual person, the way she explained it was 2 to 3%.
Well,
oh, it's right here. I
That's not
think.
what she said.
I know, I
Isn't
think she
it like
misunderstood the
20,000
question.
More each town? Isn't that what the increase was?
Yeah.
Do you have the list of the salary updates?
They're
What they
asking for
were.
a 13% of total wages across the board.
Across the board, right. So each individual person is not 13%. She's not looking for 13% for each person. That's just the total number. Let me see
Right,
if I
yeah,
can,
I think the most goes to the head librarian.
Well,
do you
Went
have
from-
the,
went from 48,000 to 55,000, 56,000.
so
so that's-
48,000 to 56,000?
It's 48,612
I wrote 10.5%
to
per
55,903
employee.
proposed. And it's a $2 increase.
I think,
Maybe I have
They
it
want to
wrong.
hire one more full-time too. I have notes here, but it's been a while.
I just feel like we didn't get the information we asked for. I mean, the comparison information never really panned out either.
I think that's what he's looking at now, right? Is
This
that
my
the
personal
comparison
opinion.
sheet that you have there? Yeah, I think that has the,
Yeah, you have that.
I didn't bring that stuff up with me today.
I hope they get the 5013C because that would be
That'd be nice for grants.
That'd be,
It'll help
That
them
won't
out.
take much.
yeah, ton.
Pretty easy to do.
I wonder why they haven't done it all these years.
That's what I was going to know, whether the director came up with that before.
It
Well,
had
they
been
always relied
discussed.
on the towns.
Did they?
Yeah, and it had been
Never
discussed
thought
over the
outside
They
years.
the
just
box.
relied on the towns. And, you know,
This budget is.
Yeah, it's
gonna make
Life gets hard.
approximately 20%, 20,000 each town, according to this.
Total.
So have we moved into the
Right?
conversation?
No,
on
40,000
Memorial?
Oh, okay.
over last year's total budget. Looks like, so last year, the budget for Tilton was 135, and now it's 154.
Mm-hmm.
And for Northfield, the same.
So it's 20,000 each town, so it's
Town.
$40,000 increase.
Yeah.
If we're moving into the conversation, only thing I want to say is I am concerned about the fact that they don't feel, and I know I'm beating a dead horse, but they don't feel like they have to raise revenues, and they do. They should raise revenues just like the Pines does. The Pines raises revenues to help offset what they have to get from the towns. And the library has moved in a direction where they don't even collect fines anymore. And I get that. I get what they're trying to do. But if you're bringing other programs into the library that cost money, there should be a slight cost to that program. If it's not a reading group or something around a library function,
Mhm.
like the paint and sip and the this and the that and the maker space, that all costs money. If you're going to participate, I don't think a small fee to participate is going to dissuade you from doing it.
No,
And I think they have
just in general.
but I just want to say that I feel like I just want the record to show that I feel they have a responsibility to also generate some revenues, to show the taxpayers that they're doing their share to help offset the cost.
well, they at least
That's
need
the
to
501
reciprocate
The
those costs, right?
501c3
Yeah.
would also do that by bringing the grant.
Possibly,
Issues.
but they should still raise revenues. Even if they get the 501c3, they should still raise some revenues for basic things that are over and above what they do for as a library. They're branching off into all these new things, which is fine if it brings people in. But you shouldn't be able to go do an event and not have any out-of-pocket cost if you're buying materials for that event.
No.
That's my 2 cents.
Well, I think that was,
I mean, I'm on the Old Home Day Committee. We raise money for everything. We raise a huge percentage of what we bring in with fundraising and sponsorships and selling things. And, you know, we carry some of that burden for that event. And I think the library needs to raise some
Well,
money.
yeah, I think they're aware of that.
Did you ever look at RSA 202A? that-
No, the RSA says that we need to provide a free library,
And we have
Okay.
to be,
not a bunch of programs.
and we have to be
Literacy.
careful too with,
There's a difference.
we need to be careful too with, you know, asking us questions and stuff and participating in this conversation as, you know, I know what that says, but it's about other things over and above what they do in a library. That's my concern. I know we're not going to charge money for books and things like that to come and use the services, but if you're doing over and above events, there should be some small costs associated to help raise revenue. That's all.
Thank you. So,
Did you want clarification on that? So she knows.
Yeah, do you want me to write to them or do you want to keep talking about the library another week? And have me
Well-
write to them and ask them for clarification?
Does it really,
No.
doesn't really matter. I mean, the only other thing is, do we want to reconsider flatlining them and giving them enough money to give them 2.5% or 3%?
I would think maybe 3%. would
Keep it
be-
consistent with the town.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think 3%
Other
is
people are
unreasonable.
doing, yeah.
But
Because
Well, I'll make that in the form of a motion that we allocate them enough funds to increase their wages all across at 3%. We could have Tim figure out what that is. I mean, we could figure 10% multiply times 3, but
I think they gave us the.
So a
original
They didn't
3%,
give
a
us-
3% pay raise for employees. I'm okay with that. I'll second that.
any other,
So how am I wording that one? Motions to allocate funds.
We're not gonna vote on the amount yet. We're gonna pass it to
It was-
Tim.
we're going to pass it to Tim.
Right.
He'll give us
So
an amount.
Motion to give the staff a 3% raise in that is consistent with what town employees are getting.
thank Thank
I'd
you.
rather wait to vote till I
Not
see
a
the
dollar amount, but just a,
Yeah, yeah.
Tim will
So we
give
do
us
this
a
for
dollar
now,
amount.
have Tim work it out, and then come back with the number. Is that what you want me to
Yeah,
do?
Tim will give us the amount.
Okay.
I mean, like I
Here's
said, we could figure,
Total wages is,
we could,
there's a motion out there in a second, so.
well, we're talking, it's discussion.
Right.
I said,
No, I
I'm
know,
not,
just-
I'm
I
not
know.
gonna vote on it till I have a number, is what I said.
Well, you can vote on the concept of the 3%, knowing that we're waiting for Tim to give us a number.
Yeah. No, I'm not.
Or do we have to vote on it? It's a consensus. We'll
All
have
right,
Tim
how
give us the
about
number and then we'll vote on the figure.
Motions to,
I'll withdraw my motion.
okay.
Just have Tim give us a number for next
So we
meeting.
just have a consensus. It sounds like we do.
That
Yeah,
we want.
Consensus
Just have
to,
Tim give us that number.
Yep.
That makes it simpler.
Yeah, perfect.
that's much
I don't know what
better.
I was thinking of. I wasn't.
No, at least you got the conversation going. That's okay. But I do want the record to reflect that we do not agree with the statement that everyone at the library is under the.
Yeah.
I want the record to reflect that, you know,
Well, and
that was
my issue is
misleading.
that I would like to know where they got that statement from, and that's.
I can ask that anyway,
That's a
since you're going to
curious
be
question.
talking about it again next
Please
week. I'll
pass
throw it
that
out there.
To the library and say.
Where did
we're
they come up
asking-
with?
That was brought up that everyone's got poverty wages. We want to know where that
came from.
is
How she
Where the
determined.
facts. yeah.
determined. Yeah, what's the determination for that?
And Tim
So-
knows what all of those people get paid for wages?
We do.
Yeah, we know. We
Well,
know.
Well, I'm looking at,
We
they
don't have
have
a
a budget of
breakdown.
160, but they only use 113 for 23, and they want 197, so.
I can get it.
Well,
from
no,
you.
they have a list of
This
them
is-
here.
This is.
We
She'll
have
get
a,
it.
I'll go through what I have, and then if I don't have enough, I'll ask.
This
her
is
for what we
currently
need.
what they're making. And that's what they'd like to make.
Which one? Oh, okay.
That 13%. Never mind, focus here.
Well, this is, okay, salaried.
It would be nice to get a nice breakdown for the next meeting of what
Yeah.
everybody makes and what,
We have that.
I know, but
Now, do you want Tim to do the 3% based on
they make now.
current positions?
Yeah.
Because they're trying to add a position. So are we doing the add the position plus 3%, or what do you want to do with that?
I'm gonna go with current.
Current.
Because I think the adding position was.
Because that's what they're
should be
showing
making
us
Space and all that.
in this list.
I'd say current.
What position are they adding, since you got the list right there? Or does it not
I
say?
think it's the assistant director.
It says untitled.
Oh.
Yeah. I think you're right. Yes, I think you're right.
Adult services librarian is unfilled.
Oh, jeez. Poor thing.
Well, it's in the garage tonight.
Oh, God, that's stink.
Do we want to start going through the operating budget?
Sure. Run through that real quick.
Did I make a comment on the library subject?
Sure.
Do we have an open public forum here?
Well, I do.
I know, but we're not going to get
We
any
don't
work
have a.
done.
Yeah. Sure, go ahead, Nate.
Thank you. So I just wanted to say that, the library is a service like the police department or the school. It, doesn't lose money. It costs money, to provide services to the town people. And, if the, total increase is, $40,000, that's about the same price as, a new kitted up Tahoe for the police department. And you could argue that, the library easily provides as much, value as said vehicle. And I think it's worth looking at what raise percentages these staff have been getting over, the last 5 or 10 years, just to see if they are, making close to market wages. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We have a list of what their wages are.
Right.
Um,
I don't really have a back. Sometimes they give us what the wages were.
Like the
for
previous
the
3
last
years
3
or
years
something,
that
yeah.
they are supposed to give us.
I mean, if they want to give that to us before the next meeting, that would be helpful.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
But
What
I
is
mean,
it?
we've
Oh.
had
I
months.
mean,
to
does
do
it
that.
really
would-
matter? You're looking at their wages,
We're-
what they are now.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
just to see what they've got for raises in the last few years. We're just looking at what the wages were in the last.
I don't think
in
it's
the
much.
original request was for
and
3
they're
years.
part-time
3
positions.
years of budgets.
For all positions.
So we could
It's
we
not
could
much.
still
Like
like to see that.
Okay.
since we-
2020
we
was
haven't seen that.
122, 394, then 21 was
Oh, do you have that?
122, 580, and then
Yeah.
22 was 139, 381. So from 21 to 22, it went up,
Quite a bit.
but they really didn't get nothing from 20 to 21.
And you have to remember, these are
It
all,
was much higher.
But that was also.
That was
the
when that other-
COVID years.
you only have 2 positions.
Yeah, and that
are
other director who had the
part-time.
this is much higher in 18 and 19 because that was the other lady that was
Yeah,
there.
Right, different qualifications, different.
yeah,
Yeah,
right.
Okay.
so
I don't know.
it hasn't been bad.
Oh, so we actually have that information.
It was attached to their original
Yeah,
application that they submitted.
So we
I
don't
think
need
it's the
that
last.
information.
Okay.
We have that.
Yeah,
I was looking for that. For some reason I couldn't.
I don't see 23 though. Just says to 22. So I don't know. They got big increases for
That's
23.
fine. We have 23 and
Yeah.
24 on the other page.
Oh, okay. All right. Are
Okay,
we
so
starting
yeah.
with admin on the budget or what are we doing?
Yeah, so we're just going to go run over the budget in case anybody has questions or issues for Tim.
I think we covered them all when Christine went through it.
yeah,
all
I don't
again.
have any questions for Tim, but I do have suggestions for the budget.
Yeah.
Okay.
So on page 3, under legal, line 4153910, that we dropped that to 20,000.
Could you repeat the line?
Legal, general expenses, 4153910. About
Okay.
a little more than midway.
Estimate of legal
Page
services.
3.
What is this through though? Is this through 1227 like it says at the bottom?
Is it what?
Is these numbers, is it through 1227 when this was printed?
I don't know.
Well, that makes a difference on how much they've spent for the year.
I
That's all.
wasn't looking at what they expended for the year. I just
Well,
know that,
They're at 20,000.
so for example, I know that since March, since I was reelected, when I shouldn't be reelected, to jumped back into the stew.
Yeah.
There was a lot of lawyer use where we could have been using local government center.
Or New Hampshire municipal or local government.
Yeah.
Same thing.
So, I mean, for example, I sat as a selectman, I sat at a meeting for almost an hour that involved an attorney that all I could think of was, what a waste of money.
Do you want to move
That
it
was
from
my first meeting.
25 to 20?
So I'm just suggesting we drop it to 20.
Where are we at?
Legal.
Page
Legal
3.
general
Page 3.
expenses.
Page 3.
We are,
53910.
But do you think where
we
you
are
being,
done with the,
Okay, yeah.
but do you think even with now not having a town administrator and a new one coming in, it would be better to leave a little money in legal? Or,
well, 20,000 I think is enough of a wiggle. You can't anticipate, I mean, if somebody comes in
Right.
and serves us with a lawsuit, well, we're not going to budget for that. We're going to have to, if we can't find it in our budget, then we're going to have to go the route of DRA and please can
Find
we
it.
dip into?
Yep, yep.
Because it's unexpected. But for every, for day-to-day things, that should be plenty.
I'm okay with that.
Okay, so
Same.
that's, you want to put that line to 20?
Yes, please.
Is that a motion? Should
That's
we
a
vote
motion.
or whatever? Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I was gonna suggest we drop the merit raise to 2.5, but,
Because it was 4.5 last year, yeah.
well, they went from 3.5 to 4 to 3 to, but I'm not savvy enough
Well,
to know.
inflation has been pretty bad, so
In some
and
areas.
there's no other really increase except for the merit, right?
Right.
Was there any conversation, Catherine, with the board about changing I know they changed the highway superintendent's salary down to 85. Did they do anything with the town administrator one?
I believe that was dropped as well.
Doesn't
show.
look like it on this
Same.
one.
I have a question mark there. What should we vote it as?
Yeah, it was dropped.
It was?
Uh-huh.
What the selectmen think?
Look at the unaudited expense as of 12/21/23.
102, yeah.
Yeah, but the
But does that include
99,840
the
is the
3%?
request.
I'm pretty sure that 99,840 is dropped.
For what?
I don't know from what. I don't remember, but I know it was over 100,000.
Well, that's the expense of this year was 102.
Well, that's probably because
They
paid out,
budgeted at 99,840.
they probably paid out time earned or something, right?
So they're,
Well, you remember, it may have been budgeted at that, but merit raises and salary changes were done as of July 1st. So you're not going to, see what I mean? You're not,
Can we see what they're like, what, if they think it's going to stay at 99 or go down a little bit?
they're budgeting it at what Jeannie was being paid.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It should be dropped a little bit.
It's the same as
Just
the
like
prior
the-
year.
Yeah, just.
well, it depends on, you have to remember that
Right,
Jeannie
but-
wasn't an experienced town administrator. She was here, what, 5 years? So, who are we gonna get? I don't know who's out there, what's out there.
Will you guys know better before we have to finalize this? Because I know you're looking now for one.
Yeah, I would, so I put a
Like
check mark
revisit it?
beside my box there because that's definitely a good question.
All right, so we'll
Mhm.
revisit
Okay.
it
You know what I
maybe?
mean?
Okay.
And,
I know you're in the market now, so.
right. I
Okay.
mean, we could get somebody that has very little experience or none.
But you're also gonna have to pay out the guy that's filling in until you fill.
Yes.
So there's still gonna be an expense.
And Paul, the fellow we have as interim, has an amazing experience.
Yeah.
Amazing,
Where did he work?
everywhere.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
he's been a town administrator for a
He's
long
been in
time.
he's been all over
He
the town.
retired and now he kind of fills in places.
He does,
Yeah.
right now he does interim work and
Yeah.
he's amazing.
Great.
So the support staff for the town administrator is up 15.2%. Was that because what he said?
Because there's
They're
now
trying to
two
catch up.
people. There's now two people in that one position.
I have a question on 4130310, Miss Selectman,
Which one?
still on page 2.
Yeah.
4130310.
Travel expenses.
Administrative travel?
Expenses, but then
Yeah.
it says no town hall vehicle available. I thought we have a town hall vehicle because we've been paying maintenance on it.
Did we have the old police car or
Whole
something?
mileage expense charged to this line is there. Oh, so what that means is we have a vehicle, but it's dedicated to the building inspector. So as health officer, if I have to go to Concord or someplace out of town for something, I put my mileage and I use my own car. That's just an example.
I was just curious
I
because I
would
was like, I
suspect
know we
that
had a vehicle.
land use, when she goes out to look at sites, would do the same thing because she uses her own vehicle. Before, we used to have what I referred to as the boat.
Yep. Administrative equipment purchase went down by 1,000, but, oh, it went down by 7,500.
What was that?
I like that. Keep going.
I wonder if that was the deposit on the baler. So that,
Oh, this
like
would
that
be
made it in.
some kind of office equipment.
This is
They keep
administration.
just-
Oh, that's right,
Yeah,
administration.
they just keep
Yeah.
something there in case they have to buy a printer. Tim's
So
been pretty
maybe the
savvy
server
of
that
getting
he
that,
did?
but yeah. This went down. So we're keeping $1 in the consulting outside contracts.
Mm-hmm.
All these moderators and supervisors, that's the elections.
Got a lot of elections.
Yeah, you can't do anything about that this
Yeah,
year.
that's why I moved down. Go down here.
The 4 of them, Judy?
4 of them.
We're still working on tax mapping update.
It never ends.
Right.
Wow, jeez.
You have to keep them up to date and current.
Yeah.
If you don't, it just gets worse when you
Yeah,
have to
I've
do
been
it.
on a lot of them, and it's. I think there's a lot of house sales in Tilton, so it doesn't
Well, the
change
tax
much.
map updates is also new properties, new subdivisions, anything that happens.
That in
Planning,
Tilton.
zoning,
Lot line
Not much.
adjustments.
lot line adjustments,
Yeah.
anything.
Reappraisals. Electricity went down.
It's supposed to go down again. I just saw something on the news
I heard,
about
yeah.
like a
That'd be
15
nice.
to 15% decrease or something. So I'll believe it when I see it.
Town hall maintenance went way down. Senior centers in admin. The senior center maintenance went up.
Why did highway health insurance go up so high?
Because there's an
All
extra
of them.
hire in there.
Well, I mean, all the other,
Oh, the
all
health
the-
insurance
the
did go up.
Medicare.
Yeah,
I
it went
mean,
up in admin too.
Yeah,
But-
health insurance, the cost of health insurance went up, and then in highway, they added an extra, so that's another increase.
I know it went up like 9 or 10% in general, but it's gone up 42%.
Somebody could have changed plans or a new employee.
Yeah, I was just
had-
gonna say, we
Instead of a
could have
single plan, they have a 2-person or a family, that'll whack it out. That'll make it go up quite a bit.
gone from a single to a 2 to a
Yeah.
family.
What's Lakes Region Mutual Fire Aid?
Belong to the mutual
I asked
aid.
that last time.
Lakes Region Mutual
Said that.
Fire Aid, so we belong to Tilton.
Are you
We
kidding?
belong to Lakes Region Mutual Fire Aid in Belknap County. They dispatch
Someone's trying to steal it. No.
the fire trucks, ambulances, etc.
Oh, because they're charging more.
Northfield has tried to change that. So it goes through the district.
Yeah.
Well, we would pay 2/3 and Northfield would pay 1/3 approximately. So we're much better off where we are
Okay.
now, but it
Yikes.
did go up.
So we can't vote on admin until we have the answer on
Right.
the town administrator's salary from when she goes to the meeting.
Oh,
Good shut off on?
till the next time.
Working.
Give your keys to
Someone
Deb,
just
she'll
drove
take
off
care
on
of
it. Somebody just drove off with it. You're like, fine, I'll get one that doesn't go off.
Are we going section by section, or is just everybody's going wherever?
I've just been going through any questions.
Because we can vote on each section if there's no question.
Right, yeah, did you have another
We can't do
motion?
this, no.
Not yet.
We can't
I
do
didn't know if everybody
administration till
looked
we
at the
get
next
that
section.
answer.
Right, right.
I think I want to wait until we get the numbers, yeah.
Yeah, we can't vote on that one till the number, but
Or we could do town clerk tax collector
yeah, we
section.
can look at that. Yeah, there's elections, it's,
How do you guys usually do it? You have to do line by line?
Section.
sometimes we can change lines, but if we don't have anything, we can vote for that whole section plus say with amendment, if we amend it, but I don't know that anybody has any for that one,
Well,
that
we
section.
were doing that with the police.
Right, but we're on town.
We
clerk
usually
tax
vote by
collector.
section. So
Yeah.
like town clerk, tax collector, motion to approve 150,983.
Second. How was
Wait,
that?
what section did you do?
Town clerk.
Town
Town
clerk,
clerk,
tax
tax
collector.
collector. Most of the increase is because of
It's
elections
because of
and
those
stuff.
4 elections.
Yeah.
We have a motion and a second.
What was the motion?
Approved.
To
To
approve the
approve the
amount.
total of the town clerk's tax collectors
Okay.
department
Department
request.
request.
And Judy, you seconded?
Yes.
Okay.
That was 159.83.
Mm-hmm.
How about finance?
Wait,
Well, we
wait.
gotta vote.
To do that all
Oh.
in favor thing.
Oh.
I like how she put that, the all in favor
Do
thing.
that thing.
Gotta do that
We
thing.
could do them all at the end.
Hey, I've always wanted to vote for the bottom line at the end, but
Well,
we've
let's
never
just do
done it
sections.
that
It's
way.
easier.
I mean,
No.
Let's
I mean,
just
we
do
could-
sections. It's easier.
Yeah, I like section.
Want to do them?
Do you
It's
think,
already
do
on
you
the
think, Bill?
table.
Okay. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Opposed? Aye. Ayes have it. I would, move that.
So can I just ask a question on the very next one, the budget committee?
Mhm.
If we get another member, that's going to be different, right?
No, it's based on 7 members if you look at it.
Oh, I thought it was based on,
I was thinking
One
we
we were
could cut
missing.
it by 2, but that's only gonna, what, $800?
Yeah.
no, I thought it was including the person that's vacant, but it's actually including 2 more.
Mhm.
We're a 7-member board. We have 2 vacancies.
So we're going to leave it. So this is funding how many positions?
7.
7.
Okay.
So but it's actually, yeah,
It's actually less.
there's actually a change because I believe they've taken the secretary's money out of this.
Oh, and put it in
Because
with
it was
the administrative.
Because you're
5,000.
doing the selectmen too, right? So it's under admin? Okay, that
On
makes
that
sense.
half position that they talk
Yeah,
about.
Okay,
yeah,
thank
so
you.
there was, originally our budget was 5,000, which included secretarial.
Administrative help,
Yeah.
okay. That makes
So
sense,
then
thank you.
they've reduced it to
I
28.
was wondering how, if we had 7 members, why it went down, but that makes
Well, the
sense.
interesting thing is we have 7 members, but one of those members doesn't get the $400, but we based it on 7 members.
Right,
Because you're
one is a select
selectmen.
person that doesn't get,
Yeah,
is already getting.
the ex officio member
Right.
doesn't get that.
So is it worth lowering it $400?
Well, I mean, you know, it's,
Is it worth lowering it $400? I mean, every little bit helps.
well, I mean, it's like, I
Because
don't
there
even
will
know
always
if you
be a
can figure
selectman
that.
on
It
the
doesn't
board,
get
right?
spent anyways.
It's always a selectman as a member, yeah.
Right,
It doesn't
so
get spent anyways. So,
Right.
So,
either way.
I like the treasurer's salary has not increased in over 15 years.
Well, it is this year, though. That's
yeah,
okay.
but we reduced another one to get there.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
So it was a wash.
And he already explained the short-term debt.
So
So.
yes, why am I going, yeah.
I have no.
What
problem
kills
with
me is finance under printing. We went from 400 to 415. Like, we wouldn't be able to find $15 in this budget somewhere.
that. Yeah.
The person we don't have sitting here.
You're right.
I just think it's comical.
You know, prices are going up.
This sounds more realistic.
Practical, very practical.
Someone going to make a motion?
I will move that we approve the finance at 152,460. Total
Second it.
finance.
Second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? And of course, the long-term debt, we have no ability to
We have no say.
change that, so.
Well, we actually do, but we probably shouldn't. I agree with you.
Yeah. So I move that we approve the long-term debt at 442,076. Or is it no? Let's see.
Yes,
Just-
that's
Or do we do
right.
the
That's the
total
long-term.
finance? Total finance and debt.
No, that would include the one we just voted on too.
Oh,
so
okay,
you get
okay,
the
just the
442
total
correct.
long-term debt
Yeah.
then, which is 442,076.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, great. The information technology. Again, something that's hard to, yeah.
Upgrades on hardware, 400.
Yeah, he went over all the different things that had to be upgraded.
Usually he does, he buys out in auctions and stuff like that.
Right.
So looks like it's,
I guess the software was the hard one that just took a big jump, but
right, but the hardware, I mean,
oh yeah,
I mean,
5 monitors,
well, that's just use.
4 more
You
printers.
usually have like a replacement chart that you do, like every 5 years or every 7 years, you replace things.
Certain ones.
Yeah.
Good deal.
And they
Yeah.
usually have like a whole, it's all built out in a spreadsheet of which ones get replaced. Because if they all start dying at the same time, you
Yeah.
pay twice as much.
Right, that would be terrible. They all died at the
So you have
same
like a, you
time.
have like a, you cycle them.
Go for it.
Make a motion to approve the $115,276.
For the total information technology.
Correct.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
I am in favor. Probably leading.
All right.
Is the beautification under economic development? Like, so that total 15,000 includes all that?
We reduced that to 2,300, right?
Yes.
Yes, we already voted on that.
And is that reflected on that total?
No,
No.
When did we reduce?
the down by economic development, if you look in the very far
not
right
down
hand
there
corner,
yet.
you see 2,300.
Sorry, Deb.
So that'd be 5,200 off the
We did,
total
we
land use.
reduced it to 3,500.
So why is land use postage going up $500?
Aren't there a few developments coming through? Potential developments and all the well, no, because the certified mail is kicked back to the
They pay for it, yeah.
person.
Okay, this is land use vehicle. Oh, that's still the same one for,
I mean, they spent
Code enforcement.
2,000 in 2023 and they want to up it to 2,500. I'm just asking. I mean, I know it's $500, but hey, it's, every little bit adds up.
What was that again?
The land use postage, it's going up 25%. I'm just wondering why.
Land use postage?
Yeah.
it was 2,000.
Stamps have gone up.
Yeah, but everything that we mail out for land use, unless it's like a violation or something, it's paid for in the application.
So one of them is members of the land use boards
Oh,
want their
you told us about that.
packets mailed to them,
Okay.
not emailed, but mailed to them.
Right, you had told us about that.
So there is that additional
Actual.
expense.
That makes sense. Thank you. I forgot about that.
We were just told.
And we talked
come
about why
get
they
it.
couldn't just pick them up
I would-
here and.
Yeah, that's
they
what we
want
used to
I'm
do,
on the
just
board, so.
come and
It's
get it.
ready, come and
It is
get it,
nice
or I can
getting it
email
back.
it to you.
Yeah, no, never mind. You're right. We
But,
already,
you
we already
know.
beat that
Dropped
dead
off a
horse.
couple occasions.
It's up to them. I mean, I'm gratefully served. However, I will applaud the land use coordinator for having a budget less than last year's. It's down by 3.7% in spite of it.
Yay.
That's because of all the money you took away from them. Not so much from them, but from the beautification.
So I think if they had 7,500 in there and we took 5,200 off of that.
We brought it down to 2,300.
That would make that bottom line 141,899.
Mhm.
I move we.
He already did that, didn't he? Because he's
No.
got over here, budget
Yeah, but he
committee
didn't-
voted
Yeah, but
2,300.
that's not under this
He
line.
didn't, he didn't delete, he
No,
didn't
no,
He
no.
didn't
assign
get
it.
out of the
7,500.
147 yet.
Oh, he didn't
Nope.
subtract it?
No.
Nope.
No, we have our own column on this.
Oh, we didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's, what am I
This is our
thinking?
call.
What am I thinking?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, yes. What am I
141,
thinking?
899.
Yes,
You making that motion, Bill?
I'm making that motion.
What's the total?
141, 899.
And the motion to approve that number?
Yes.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
Momentary lapse of reason.
Health and welfare is actually down too, so,
Yeah, we don't have to beat that one at all.
yeah, that's amazing.
Well, animal control's down quite a bit, so that helps.
Oh, yeah. So it's pretty level.
So, and.
So again, that $500 that we reduced animal control to, that's not out of that 97,521, right?
Yes, no.
Yeah, it is
No,
on
it
this
is because
particular
the selectmen
case.
voted to take 500 out of that.
Oh, so they're matched. Yeah.
So I believe that's in the department.
500, yeah, because
Oh, okay, I see
it
it.
was 1,500.
I see it.
Yeah.
I see it.
So that is the correct number.
Yes.
So I make the motion, we fund health and welfare at 97,521.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Next to Public Works, is there anything there that we were waiting for that?
Nope, they lowered the salary.
Well, it's up 13.7%.
We just don't- Yeah, and the
wait.
revenue would be
19.1%.
different. Right, that's because they're adding people and the,
I remember
This-
on that, in that section, in the uniform section, you had asked him to take it from $1,000 to $500, and now it says $2,500 to $500, so that's the only thing I remember out of the budget that you
on
talked
the
about.
uniform.
What line is that?
I'm sorry, underline 4311.600, highway uniforms.
Okay, increase due to additional personnel.
I mean, it shows to
That's
bring
for
it to
that new
500,
position.
but I don't know why it's just 2,500 for the request. Maybe that was just the original request, and that's why he has to show it.
It's
No,
just,
it
it's
used to
just
be
a change.
2,000.
They're
He's
just showing
asking
us
for
a
500
change.
more.
Because it's that new position, they have to fund, they have to get them uniforms.
Right.
That would be
Maybe
that
it was
new-
a different department then.
Well, sanitation doesn't have uniforms, right?
Right.
No,
So
they
that's
just have
why.
those glow in the dark vests.
No, but that's why all the uniforms come out of highway. So that's for that new position, I bet. $500 for uniforms.
Maybe it was the training that was what brought down to 500. Maybe that was the difference.
Oh, because training, they asked for 1,000.
And since
It
they're,
used to be 500.
right, and since they're not doing two new positions, they were going to do one position.
That doesn't look like it's any lower.
Yeah, we didn't vote on it. I don't see it.
Right. Actually, training is doubled to what it was last year.
Yeah. I'm willing to get, that now we don't have a mechanic, we don't have,
Right,
weren't
no,
they supposed to get like salt certifications or whatever that was?
Bill, your question on why that health insurance is so much is a good question. 42.3%. And I just
it's
looked,
almost a 50% increase.
yeah, I
in
just looked
total.
at town halls. So even though we know health insurance went up, they went up less than 10%.
Is this the two positions that they were trying to get and they didn't take it out of the health insurance? Remember they had talked two at first for highway,
They had two, dropped it to one.
but maybe they didn't drop this line.
Well,
Let's
ask,
ask Tim.
let's ask
Yeah.
Tim. Let's hold off on that. And yeah, because it's almost a 50% increase,
Let's,
even though it's only,
and you have more employees in town hall, but that's less than 10% it went up.
yeah,
50% is crazy.
right.
Yeah.
Right. That's a little confusing. So we'll make a note to
You
ask
can
Tim
also
about
ask about
that.
uniforms and training at the same time if you want.
Yeah, we'll go over that one when he's
Okay,
around.
so those are things to ask Tim. Over to
Would we skip
sanitation,
sanitation or no?
which
Okay.
Highway.
I don't think we have anything we can do about that. That's all.
It's a healthy cost to hopefully come out even.
Tipping fees and, yeah.
It would be nice if we could offset some of the cost.
Yeah, it's just a lot.
Well, if we had the revenues, that would help too, to know if this is,
Maybe we should wait on this one till he
Working.
gives us that. Because he put an estimated amount, didn't he
The
say?
revenues won't affect the bottom line.
no, but
here.
it'd help us see like what the costs for
Yeah,
the program.
because they are,
You're not gonna see it till next year.
But
Right.
I mean,
This is a startup.
oh,
They still have
Curbside,
to
we can't
raise
do
and
nothing
appropriate the
about.
money to operate it.
Right, I still do.
Seems like kismet.
why is demo material removal so much higher? They only take that on, well, they take it
well,
on
they do,
amnesty day, but,
that's,
No, they take it
days.
year
and then
round.
they
Yeah.
charge a fee, right?
Right.
Yeah, see.
Yeah.
Why
We
is
have
that so
amnesty
much higher?
twice a year.
Right. That's a lot of,
This is 33% high, I mean, an
That's a
additional
good
8
Tim
grand.
question.
right,
All right, so we'll leave that for Tim too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is
Yeah.
costing a lot more to get rid of it now too. Our
Right.
tipping fees are out.
and it depends on how much
charge
people bring
more.
in
We should.
on our amnesty days.
They can go bring
If
it
they
down
get a
over the
lot of
city.
it,
Not
that's
much.
gonna
I
be
brought
more,
sheetrock there.
but we can
And
ask them about
Contracted, they're
that,
bringing in trailers of it.
Yeah,
the
but we don't charge
33%.
that much. It's pretty cheap. To me it was anyways. I'm like,
Okay, so on to the police station,
okay,
police department.
all right, so Catherine had one thing.
The wages.
Do we want to vote on dropping 90,000 overall salaries and supporting
Sure.
disability, retirement, health, blah, 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 blah,
Just
blah?
out of the appropriate line, so just say remove that other position. out of
Well,
all
again,
lines.
we can have Tim, if there's a consensus, we can have Tim do the math. And then when we get the budget, it'll reflect. in
So
each
just
one
let
of
the
them.
minutes reflect that we want Tim to take that position out of all lines.
Yeah.
Appropriate lines.
Take one patrolman position.
One position, yes.
Yeah. Which is approximately 90,000.
Approximately.
It has to
It's a
come out of
little
the
more than that.
Okay.
So that's salary and
All-
insurance
All
and
affected
taxes.
lines, yeah. Would be,
It'd be
FICA,
FICA,
federal,
all kinds, yeah.
Medi.
Just ask them to remove from the
Well, they don't
PD
pay-
budget.
They don't pay social,
And uniforms
because they're
as
group
well.
two. They don't pay
Right,
social,
They'll know what to
yeah,
do.
because they're in
but
retirement,
health,
yeah.
dental, retirement.
Yeah.
Big enough to do that.
Mm.
So do we need a motion for that? or-
No,
No, we'll vote out when we get the figure.
Okay.
we get the new ones.
All right, so now we're at culture and recreation.
Our commission
We
is
still,
up.
we need to know.
Gotta get the numbers from Tim on Home
library.
Memorial. Yep, so
Library,
that's, so we
so
can't
we'll
vote
change-
on this one.
We'll wait on that one
Okay.
too.
So that's all we can,
All right.
oh, we got one more.
Did he increase?
No, we voted on
Outside agencies, you already did, so that's
Yeah.
good. That's our initial run through.
Yeah.
Woo.
So, but that's, what we voted on isn't reflected here.
No. So but we voted on our amounts, and when he does our budget, it'll show those. amounts.
Right.
He'll update it.
Selectmen might have different, but the budget is the
You
budget.
guys haven't done outside agencies yet, Catherine?
Pardon?
On the budget, on the selectmen? You haven't done outside agencies yet? Do
No,
come
they
in-
haven't done much. We've been a little busy in other
With
areas.
personnel issues? Yes, we understand.
Let's just say we've been sideways.
All right.
Been a little distracted.
So we're going to meet again next week,
Why not? It's so much fun.
or we could do 2 weeks.
Tim's been back.
We just need to figure out when we want to have our public hearing.
If we meet next week,
Right. We
we
could,
probably can put this to bed,
right. And we
then set our public hearing,
On
and
the
then we'll be
31st.
good until February.
could have that on January 31st.
She's
Crack
to
the
the
whip.
point. She said to the point.
Well,
Yeah.
The sooner you get it done, the sooner you can take your
So
break.
that would be the 10th.
but she said.
I'm not opposed. I'm just
No.
I'm a
laughing.
big believer in
2
doing
weeks
your
is the
homework before you
17th.
have your dinner, before you have your dessert.
I think
So
she
you wanna
said
meet
if we
next
meet
week?
next week and we can be done with it. And
Oh,
then-
you think next week?
If we meet next week, we could, I'm sure, finish this up.
Okay, and then we
We'll
would-
have our information on the
And have a
library,
break.
and if we don't, we'll just go forward.
Okay,
And next week, we could probably, and then we don't meet until the public hearing.
okay.
So
Sounds
the
good.
10th.
What Catherine said.
We'll have like 2 weeks off, or 3 weeks off.
All right, great.
So there's 3 questions I need to ask Tim, just to have him take care of on 2 for the budget and 1 for the library, right? And then you have your own questions for Tim.
Well, we got the 90,000 figure for the budget.
We had the
We've
town
got
administrator.
town
Salary.
administrator.
Oh, you want me to ask him that one too?
Yeah. are we
Well,
gonna-
if Tim just shows up, we can ask him.
Well, if you put it in the minutes, just share the minutes with Tim.
Yeah, I always do.
Yeah, so you don't have
the
to ask him,
questions
just
we
give him
are
the minute.
asking is
Highlight 'em.
salary for the town administrator set in stone at that.
So both the salary for the town administrator and the DPW?
No, the DBW is already done.
PD.
No, the
PD.
director. You were questioning the director's salary, were you not?
For highway, no, they already did that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's already been
Approved.
They
done.
already did it.
The only thing we want to know about highway is why is the health insurance at 42.3% increase?
Right.
Right.
Dental is
Yeah.
And then we need the new numbers minus the PD
Yeah, health
patrolman
and dental are
for
both
all the
way
lines. What else?
up. So those are two
So
questions.
four total.
And then we had a question about the demo material.
Just what the,
That's up 33%.
Yeah. Why?
Am I asking him that one as well?
He'll
Okay.
see it in the minutes if he'll.
Yeah, so these
He'll
are
be
questions we
attending.
will have for Tim. And
What was the wise demo?
Highway uniforms is another question.
so it was uniforms too.
they can't go naked.
I have that included for
Oh,
the,
Okay,
for the DPW in total because we didn't know if
Might
they
be
had
fun.
taken that off of the uniform.
and the other was
And then the
the,
new
I
number
included
for home
uniforms for the
memorial.
PD too.
And then the new number for home memorial with the 3%.
Right.
and the
That's
new
it.
number for the police department.
Yep, minus the patrolman.
Yeah.
And make sure that the highway department is, everything includes just one new position, not
Right.
two. Make sure they updated everything. Because there were two at one time.
And demo was what department? That's DPW as well?
It's under
That's under
recycling,
sanitation.
sanitation. Yeah, that's weird that it's, but
Grand.
Judy's right, all the costs have gone up for all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Shipping fees have gone up insane.
So
Cost to buy it has gone down a little. COVID. People had time to do projects, so they raised all building materials during COVID prices.
Right, so then, okay, next week, we should be able to
Clarify some more, yeah.
See,
clarify
public
and
comment comes
decide
down
on
here.
the date for the public hearing.
So basically, next agenda is the same as this one. I just can change the date.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
Sure, yeah. And were you going to just drop a line to Hall Memorial asking the poverty thing?
Yes, I have a note on that as well.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Favor?
Oh,
Aye.
heck yeah.
Great, thank you.
You didn't give us an opportunity for discussion.
Who seconded it? You did?
You don't usually bring that up, though. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, there was a
Thank
motion.
you.
Christina
No.
seconded it.
Christina
She
seconded?
was very excited.
Yeah.